Thank you. Please be seated. Well, welcome everyone. We are happy that you are here with us today to celebrate the accomplishments of our graduates. So that the ceremony can be enjoyed by all, we ask you to please turn off your cell phones and pagers. I know you have them. Thank you. My name is Mark Wessel. As Acting Dean of the Heinz School of Public Policy and Management, I serve as chair of the committee that oversees the Master of Information Systems Management and Master of Science and Information Technology programs. In this capacity, I'm pleased to preside over this important occasion. Today we will be awarding diplomas to the graduates of the Master of Information Systems Management program and the Master of Science and Information Technology program. I take particular pleasure in recognizing and welcoming our first graduates through the MSIT program partnership with General Motors. These exceptional programs draw upon Carnegie Mellon's leadership and expertise in information technology and management. Our graduates have worked very hard during their time with us to reach this significant day. Please join me in giving them a well-deserved round of applause for their outstanding accomplishments. But these talented individuals did not reach this point in their lives alone. They were supported psychologically, emotionally, and very often financially by family and friends, many of whom are here with us to celebrate today. I would like the graduates to join me in welcoming all of our guests to this momentous occasion. Also joining us are members of the outstanding faculty and staff who have been instrumental in forging these programs and ensuring the success of today's graduates. Would faculty and staff in the audience and on the stage please stand so that we can recognize you now. Let me tell you who's seated up here with me. Stephen Rarig, Associate Professor of Information Systems and Public Policy. Lorna Kearns, Adjunct Assistant Professor and Director of the MSIT program. Spencer Peterson, Adjunct Assistant Professor in Information Technology. Joe Mertz, Senior Lecturer of Information Systems. Ramaya Krishnan, Chair of the MISM and MSIT programs, and William W. and Ruth F. Cooper, Professor of Management Science and Information Systems. Karen Moore, Associate Dean of Information Technology Programs. Jeff Gannick, Chairman and CEO of Newstar and today's speaker. Linda Babcock, James M. Walton Professor of Economics. Michael McCarthy, Senior Lecturer in Information Systems Management. And Janos Chipula, Senior Lecturer in Information Systems and Director of the MISM program. In today's ceremony, we will honor and celebrate each of our graduates. As you will hear, some students are recognized with distinction and others with highest distinction. I will now ask Associate Dean Karen Moore to read the names of the Master of Information Systems Management graduates, and Dr. Shapula to assist me with the diploma presentation. Please reserve your applause until all graduates have received their diplomas.
Would the MISM graduates please rise and come forward as I call your name? Khalid Al-Zajali. Angira Apte. Sahal Ariparath. Isyanya Arafin. Ya Aser. Pratik Bansal, highest distinction. Bradford Bartlett, highest distinction. Ritesh Batra, distinction. Vikram Bezawada, distinction. Nihal Bojak. Alejandro Canizales, highest distinction. Bernard Caramba Coker. Paul Chang, highest distinction. Guy Jarusatirakun, highest distinction. Chin An Chen. Ji Quan Chen, highest distinction. Annie Chang, highest distinction. Gurkiran Chang, distinction. Clarence Chung, highest distinction. Shalwan Shur. Edward Shuang. Tien Fa Shuang. Pei Chi Zhong. Stephen Ding, distinction. Ko Su Fan, highest distinction. Patrick Fong, distinction. Evan Frisch, highest distinction. Sriram Galapali, distinction. Adam Greenbaum, highest distinction. Samir Gupta, highest distinction. Saeed Hediati, highest distinction. Brian Henry. Mark Holmgren, highest distinction. Aaron Howe, highest distinction. Wei Ting Xiao. Wei Ting Shu, highest distinction. Hai Huang, distinction. Yi Chin Huang, highest distinction. Chen Jiang, distinction. Selena Zhou, distinction. Scott Zhang. Lon Can. Tanya Call, highest distinction. Nazaret Kazarian, highest distinction. Young Woo Kim. Yun Ho Kim, distinction. Zhu He Quan, distinction. Candice Lai. Hai Quan Lee. Sukbin Lee. Thomas Lee. Youngjin Lee, distinction. Andrew Lee. Colleen Lee, highest distinction. Ying Lee, distinction. Willie Liao, highest distinction. Young Mi Lim. Young Lu, distinction. Yun Ni Lu. Okay.
Congratulations.
Roberto Lopez. Nat Lineru Michai, highest distinction. Archina Malajosala, highest distinction. Hiranya Maru. Kareen Mason, highest distinction. Emi Matsuyama. Salim Mawani, highest distinction. Mohammed Yusno Mohammed Yunus, highest distinction. Panwan Moonpinnet, distinction. Eric Ng, highest distinction. Pali Ng, distinction. Gaurav Nigam, highest distinction. Beyond Q Park, distinction. Ashish Mahendra Patel, highest distinction. Sean Penline, highest distinction. Sadachok Posahard, highest distinction. Abhimanyu Podar, highest distinction. David Poku. Not here. Gauri Prakash. Hi, okay. Kapil Puri. Highest distinction.
Congratulations.
Andreas Rindler, highest distinction. Gabriel Rivera. Blair Sipe, highest distinction. Adelina Shi, highest distinction. Jose Salazar. Young Song Shi, highest distinction. Yi Shin Shi, distinction. Chi Feng So. Mutea Soleapin, highest distinction. Wendy Su. Murat Talu, highest distinction. Sean Tiber. Michael Toda. Jennifer Torres Vernique. Theodore Say, highest distinction. Po Zhao. Ron Erwong. Srini Utpala, highest distinction. Punishri Vishwanath, distinction. Felix Wei, highest distinction. Inchao Wan. Shane Wheeler, distinction. Chao Lei Yin, highest distinction. Yu Zhong, highest distinction. Min Zhong, highest distinction. Please join us in congratulating the 2003 MISM graduates.
Thank you. Dean Moore will now read the names of the Master of Science in Information Technology graduates. Again, please reserve your applause until all MSIT graduates receive their diplomas.
The MISM graduates may now be seated. I'd like to ask the MSIT graduates to please rise and come forward when I read your name. Christopher Amater, highest distinction. Omawami Apampa, highest distinction. Kavitha Badranath. Mark Banter, highest distinction. Ron Banerjee. Benjamin Beal. Zhejian Chao, highest distinction. Pinyi Chung. Paul Delaney. John DePaula, highest distinction. William Farmer, highest distinction. James Godoris, distinction. Ramesh Gowda, highest distinction. Gary Gross, highest distinction. Chi Min Huang. Kanika Jain, distinction. Brian King. Krishna Kondaru, distinction. Roman Kishakevich. Po Fu Liu. Kishore Madhava. Paula Memorella. Kenneth Martin. Vance Martin, highest distinction. Ryan McGrath, highest distinction. Lois McLaughlin. S.P. Nathan, highest distinction. Rena Ondel Signor, distinction. Gregory Porter. Boža Radanovic, highest distinction. Nancy Sharkey, highest distinction. Roger Slykehouse, highest distinction. Brett Trelfa, highest distinction. Brian Whale, highest distinction. Please join me in congratulating the 2003 MSIT graduates.
Will the MSIT graduates please be seated? It's now my pleasure to introduce our keynote speaker. Jeff Ganek is Chairman and CEO of Neustar, a provider of directory and clearinghouse services to the communications industry. To be routed to their destinations, all telephone calls in North America and all messages using the .us and .biz internet domains depend on Neustar directories. Jeff has over 25 years of operations, finance, marketing, and business development experience in the telecommunications industry, including at Lockheed Martin, Global Telesystems Group, GTE SpaceNet, MCI, and AT&T. Of equal importance, Jeff is a Carnegie Mellon man through and through. He received a BS in 1974 from the College of Humanities and Social Sciences, and in 1975, an MS in Public Policy and Management from the Heinz School. We're thrilled that Jeff has brought his wife, Lynn, daughter, Hillary, and son, Aaron, for this special visit back to Carnegie Mellon. Over the past 2 days, Jeff has been meeting with MISM and MSIT faculty and students and discussing IT and telecommunications courses and research. I am pleased to welcome Jeff back to Carnegie Mellon and to introduce one of the true leaders in the telecommunications industry, Jeff Ganek.
Thank you very much, Mark. A long time ago, back in the 1950s, Marshall McLuhan said, "Media defines reality." In fact, for me, today's reality is quite a bit like a movie that you might remember, Back to the Future. Because here I am back at Carnegie Mellon, and you, the graduates, are the future. It was here at Carnegie Mellon that I first learned about information technology, and now I'm talking to newly credentialed leaders who are going to manage that in the future. What simple words can I offer you? Let me refer to another movie. Simple words were offered to Dustin Hoffman in the movie The Graduate. You probably don't remember that, but 1960s classic, I certainly do. Dustin Hoffman's character was given simple career advice by his father's business partner. He said, "Son, I have one word for you: plastics. Plastics will be the future. Plastics will be where the action is. The masters of plastics will be masters of the future." Plastics? Well, Dustin Hoffman was not buying any of that. But I admire the simplicity of the advice. Just a single word, and I'd like to offer advice that is that clear, that simple. Well, another movie was popular when I was here some 25, 30 years ago. Stanley Kubrick's 2001: A Space Odyssey. Another old one that you probably don't remember. This movie showed computers to be a mysterious and potent force. I still get the chills when I remember Hal's voice. That voice said that computers would take over the future. So, 30 years ago, people came to me, a young graduate here, just as Mr. Robinson came to Dustin Hoffman, and he said, "Son, I have one word of advice for you: computers. Computers will be where the action is. Computers will be where you should press your priorities. The masters of computers will be the masters of the future." And as a matter of fact, in many ways, that advice was prescient. So what do I say now, 30 years later? What do I say to you, the masters of information technology? Today at your graduation, I want to take you aside and with a smug, all-knowing look, I want to tell you the one word that is key to the future, the touchstone, the guide that you should follow. And you know what? The word is not plastics. It's not computers. And in fact, it may be a surprise to you. The word is trust. Those who manage trust will be the masters of the future. What do I mean by that? Today we see crises in trust all around us. Jason Blair at the New York Times, Enron and Anderson, WorldCom, Jack Grubman, Henry Blodgett, even Martha Stewart. You can't even trust Martha Stewart anymore. And each day, rapid advancements in information technology make the issue of trust even more urgent, more important, and I think more difficult to manage. Let me give you an example, and it's one that you have been working on diligently over the last year. Many of us do a lot of shopping on the internet. We buy groceries, car insurance, we get our home mortgages over the internet. In fact, online credit card transactions are growing at a 300% rate annually now. Fraud in online credit card transactions is growing even faster, 400% a year growth. This year alone, it's going to cost banks and merchants, it's going to cost all of us, $6 billion from fraud in online transactions. Clearly, fraud is a large and growing problem. And the fact is that the systems that we use to manage online credit card transactions do not give adequate levels of trust. On the web, banks and merchants can't tell when presented with a credit card number whether the person presenting it is in fact who they say they are. Banks can't assess the credit risk in closing a transaction presented to them. And on the flip side, you and I are inadequately protected from digital identity theft, from someone stealing our credit card number or our cash machine ATM card number. Online fraud is an obvious indicator of a crisis in trust. How are banks and merchants and hundreds of millions of consumers going to trust each other? And I submit to you that many of you will spend much of the next 20 years answering that question. Well, trust is not a special condition, a special problem in the credit card industry. Challenges to trust can be seen all around. Another example is in healthcare. Many of us know a story, a friend, a relative, whose healthcare treatment was impeded by a lack of the right information in the healthcare process. And we all know great difficulties in resolving snafus with healthcare insurance. Well, Larry Ellison, who's chairman and CEO of the Oracle Corporation, has a radical prescription. Larry has offered to donate to the U.S. government all the software that is necessary to create and manage a national healthcare database. The database would have a record of all Americans, and potentially in the future, all citizens in the world. All your health records would be there, so that whenever you went to a hospital, a doctor's office, the physician could instantly see your blood type, know your allergies, and your whole health history. So not only would healthcare treatment be facilitated, but in addition, all of the healthcare insurance payments would go more smoothly. Of course, Larry has been met with great skepticism. What about privacy? What about security? What about Big Brother? Larry's proposal is certainly controversial. Still, the technology is available. It would do what is needed. This technology would deliver the information that hospitals, doctors, HMOs, and insurance companies all need to give us better healthcare treatment. But I would guess there are not many people here in this room or outside of it who think this is a very good idea yet. How do we trust anyone with all of that information? Who puts information in? Who takes it out? Who manages the security of that information? Can you imagine a debilitating virus hitting that database, the database upon which all our health care rely? Well, I know some people ask whether the cure that's proposed by Larry Ellison would in fact be any better than the disease. But let's face it, the problem is very, very real. It's a big problem, and it's looming over us. A technical solution is available, and in some form, some shape or form, I believe it's probably inevitable. The real challenge then, the one many of you here today will be called upon to manage, is how to deliver that solution in an envelope of trust. So examples of challenges to trust are pervasive. They're pervasive in the world of IT just as they are in politics, in journalism, and on Wall Street. And the challenges are growing. In fact, the challenges may be growing faster than our ability to manage them. What does this all mean to you, the managers of IT systems? Let me make a couple of suggestions. The first and perhaps simplest challenge is to make IT systems that actually work. They usually don't, frequently don't. With the education that you've gotten here, with all the work you've done, I expect you'll do a very, very good job on this count. Unless you do that, your systems won't be trusted. Second, your systems must be reliable. Today, many information systems, many of the information systems that you use, that I use, are just unreliable. Unpredictably, they crash, they err, they fail. And if your systems aren't reliable, well, they won't be trusted. Third, the systems must be secure. They cannot be at the mercy of hostile viruses. Systems cannot be vulnerable to nefarious criminal terrorist attack. Without strong security, the systems just will not be trusted. And fourth, the systems must deliver potent privacy. You're familiar with the technologies that manage privacy. You know how to do it. You must do it. If you don't, there won't be trust in the systems. So trust is a design criteria, the critical design criteria, I submit, for IT systems. I think as important a criteria as cost, maybe more so. It's certainly critical that you keep that in mind. But don't think that the challenges are all or even predominantly technical. Systems will not be trusted without effective management of public policy and politics. You're going to have to create new organizations, both government public entities as well as private corporate ones, whose mission it is to deliver trust. If Microsoft, for example, doesn't deliver passport-like digital identity services, who's going to do it? It's got to be done. We need new, unprecedented organizations that have neutral, trusted positions and missions. They will have corporate and legal creeds ensuring their commitment to delivering trusted services. Now here's the peculiar catch. IT managers have little experience here. You will be called upon to do things that your predecessors, your mentors, your teachers have not themselves done. In addition to technology, you're going to have to manage the politics. Trust will come only when you organize and lead the forums and the politics where the interests of the constituencies who your systems serve are in fact addressed. Beware and keep at the top of your mind that the political and leadership skills that you have will be as important, more important, than your technical competencies. You must be political operators and eventually leaders. Trust demands it. And if trust is the key, then your personal integrity and judgment will be in the spotlight. Your systems will be trusted no more than you are personally. Your integrity and your judgment is critical. Just look at the scandals that fill the front pages of our newspapers. So this is the simple advice I offer. Like Mr. Robinson in The Graduate, let me take you aside and say, on your graduation day, I have one word of advice: trust. Before I close, let me say some personal things to you. Your accomplishment at Carnegie Mellon is magnificent. A master's in information systems management, a master's in IT from CMU is very valuable. People will hire you. You will be respected and relied upon. You will be leaders. More important, compared to others, you will be competent and knowledgeable. You will be seen by many as expert. You'll bring substance to your job. You will be able to get things done. That's the kind of people who come here. It's the culture of this place, and it's rubbed off on you. You'll be passionate about your work. You'll be committed to its results, and I expect that you will earn trust. So please, be proud of your accomplishments, be optimistic about your prospects, and be excited about the future. Best of luck and congratulations to each and every one of you, and I trust you'll all be very successful.
Thank you, Jeff. I'd now like to introduce our student speaker. First, a little background. A committee of students selects the speaker to present their perspective during commencement. The student committee reviewed many entries and selected the speech that best relates student experiences, is clear and effectively presented, and includes a touch of humor. Today's speaker, selected by his classmates, is Kapil Puri. Following today's graduation ceremony, Kapil will be moving to New York and joining Deutsche Bank as a business analyst. Kapil?
All right, I think I'm going to sound better if it gets some load off my head. Before I say anything, I'd really like to thank Jeff for the reinforcing the importance of trust. And as future information system manager, I'm sure all of us will get a chance to actually put that into practice. Well, greetings to all of you who've come here to share this special day with us. And Dean Mark Wessel, Associate Dean Karen Moore, distinguished guests, of course, Jeff Gannick, the MISM Director, Jano Saipula, MSIT Director, Lorna Kearns, members of the faculty, friends, family, and last, but certainly not the least, the MISM and MSIT graduates, because it's your successes we are here to celebrate. As I see it, we are here for primarily three reasons. And the first is to celebrate the achievements of the graduates. The second is to honor the families, friends, and faculty. And third is to give charge to the graduating class, to face the responsibilities, challenges, and the contests that lie ahead. For graduates, today marks one of 5 important milestones in life, the others being birth, death, marriage, and that day when you finally pay off your student loans. Graduation is the reward for all the late nights in Hamburg Hall and for all the long hours spent studying. And in the years ahead, you will look back to this day, May 17, 2003, and realize that this is the very day you begin to forget everything you had learned in graduate school. You will find slipping from your mind the carefully memorized names of XML technologies, of middleware vendors, of Java APIs, of PL SQL commands. It's all going to slip away soon. But as we celebrate our graduation today, I would ask all the graduates to take time to really thank their friends, family, the faculty, and staff. We will always remember those who gave us an opportunity and the freedom to fly as high as we can and inculcate the values that will stay with us forever. And always remember how the 24-hour OCT final taught us about new levels of perseverance, how the CMU escort service redefined all our earlier notions about space constraints, and how the concept of free food taught us that we can have a guaranteed audience for any presentation. But having said that, the MISM experience has been far more enriching than I could have ever imagined. It has given an amazing educational experience, but along with that, it's also given a very diverse, fun, and motivated peer group. It's given me a will to continually gain new knowledge, to assume challenges, and never be satisfied with the status quo. And having said that, it's also given me the knowledge to greet people in 5 new languages. Not bad for an IT program. I would like to congratulate the proud parents, and if we can have a round of applause for the parents. For parents, it's a cause to marvel that the time interval between diapers and diplomas is so short. And hopefully, a lot of you have written your last tuition check, and I'm sure that feels very good. we are graduating in challenging times, which reminds me of an incident which happened a few months ago. A recent IT graduate was interviewing with a large firm, and the interview was going very well when the interviewer asked the student, "So tell me, what are your compensation expectations?" Well, without hesitation, the student said, "I'm looking at $100,000 a year and 3 weeks paid vacation." The interviewer replied, "Oh, I thought you were looking for $150,000 a year, 4 weeks paid vacation, and a company-owned car." Well, the surprised student said, "Are you kidding?" The interviewer responded, "Well, yes, but you started it." However, I am more than confident that the education we have received here has given us the right toolkit to overcome any challenges. And just as scientists and engineers led society through recent periods of discovery and advancement, information systems and information technology professionals are poised to take leadership roles in changing our culture as never before. Our time is now. The world needs our knowledge and expertise. At 10 minutes to 7 on a dark, cool evening in 1968 in Mexico City, John Akhwari of Tanzania painfully hobbled into the Olympic Stadium, the last man to finish the marathon. The winner had already been crowned. The victory ceremony was long finished. The stadium was almost empty, as Akhwari, alone, his leg bloody and bandaged, struggled to circle the track to the finish line. A respected documentary filmmaker, Bud Greenspan, was sitting there and intrigued. He walked over to Akhwari and asked him why he had gone till the end of the grueling race when everything was already over. The young man from Tanzania whispered softly, "My country did not send me 9,000 miles to start the race. They sent me 9,000 miles to finish the race." And so, to the graduates of the MS-IT and MISM programs, let us empower ourselves to finish every race we start. Many of us practice empowerment when we decided to return to graduate school. You saw an opportunity and you seized it. You took a risk, you worked hard, and today you have realized your goals. Congratulations on your achievement. I leave here a proud member of the MISM class of 2003. Thank you.
Thank you, Kapil. I'd now like to present the Special Staff Award. Again, the recipient is chosen by students in recognition of outstanding service. Students nominated this year's recipient for her tireless dedication and is one of the nicest people to work with in the school. This year's Staff Award winner is Martina Jacobs, Director of Alumni Relations. Tina, please come to the podium to receive your award.
And I look forward to working with all of you as alums. Thank you.
I'm also honored to present the Leadership Award. This award acknowledges the MISM student who best exemplifies the goals and mission of the program. It recognizes an individual who has distinguished himself or herself across several dimensions, including leadership and initiative, excellent academic achievement, strong communication skills, and exceptional promise for future success. This year's recipient is Devin Drew. Devin will be graduating from the MISM program in December and will be moving to San Francisco for this summer as an electronic privacy intern with the Electronic Frontier Foundation. In 2002, Devin was elected by fellow MISM students to serve as a student representative. In this capacity, he was instrumental in arranging the coffee sessions with faculty and the dean, as well as the Gateway Clipper graduation party. Devin has also been a member of the student team working with the Career Services Office to expand employer contacts. Students admire Devin for his mature, principled approach. He is able to communicate with both students and administration and convincingly present his point of view. He is always ready to help students, from the many ways he contributed to the student publication dynamism to answering students' questions about courses. It is my great pleasure to present the Leadership Award to Devin Drew. I'd now like to present the award for the Outstanding Teaching Assistant. Ashish Mehta has been chosen by his classmates to receive this award. Students selected Ashish for his good attitude towards students and his helpfulness as a teaching assistant for the course Organizational Communication and Distributed Technology. It is my pleasure to present the Outstanding Teaching Assistant Award to Ashish Mehta. Ashish? Our final award, the Teaching Excellence Award, is presented to a faculty member in recognition of outstanding teaching performance. The 2003 Teaching Excellence Award recipient is Michael McCarthy, Senior Lecturer in Information Systems Management. Students chose Mike for this award because he is enthusiastic about the classes he teaches: data structures and algorithms, internet technologies, and object-oriented programming. He's an excellent instructor and very knowledgeable about his subject matter. Mike makes extra effort to help students on a one-to-one basis and wants to see them succeed. As one student indicated, some students were struggling with his Java class. Mike offered tutoring sessions after class to anyone who wanted to stay. Another student remarked, "He always answered any questions in a prompt and thorough manner. He is easy to get in contact with and always made me feel like he was there to make sure I understood the class." It's my great pleasure to present the Teaching Excellence Award to Mike McCarthy. I'd now like to call Steve Rarig, Associate Professor of Information Systems and Public Policy, to the podium to offer some final words of wisdom to our graduates. I'd also like to note that Steve was last year's Teaching Excellence Award winner. Steve?
Okay, thank you, Dean Wessel. Welcome again to the family and friends who've come here to join us today. We're really honored to have you here. Now I need to talk to the graduates. I know most of you pretty well, and I think I know what you're thinking. You're thinking that the last thing we need from Rarig is another boring lecture. So I will keep this very short, because if I don't, I'm sure one of you standing behind me will pull up one of these saying my time is up. They've seen that a number of times for me. Okay, game face. Bjarne Stroustrup, the fellow that developed the C++ programming language, has often said that there's no substitute for experience, intelligence, and taste. Experience, intelligence, and taste. He was talking about software development, a job that most of you will soon be doing in one way or another. Now, for most people, 2 out of 3 wouldn't be bad. Think of the possibilities: experience and good taste. Well, that's pretty good. Experience, intelligence, yeah. Okay, but you should have all 3, and I think you can. It shouldn't be that hard. Look where you are. Intelligence can't be taught, but you're lucky to have it. Your parents may have had something to do with it. Good for you, but this isn't enough. Taste is different. Taste means a sense of what is fitting, harmonious, or beautiful. Good taste, I think, is what CMU is supposed to be teaching you. Technologies come and go. but good taste can be applied over and over again in lots of different situations with new technologies. Taste is like the ultimate design pattern. That's an inside joke that many of you won't get. But by graduating here today, you're being recognized as someone who knows what good software looks like, what technology should be used for what problems, and how to fashion an elegant solution. In short, you have taste. The final attribute is experience, and despite our efforts and despite what you all might think, you're not there yet. So my first charge is for you to go out and finish the job. Go out and get the experience you need to become a complete professional. 5 years from now, you'll be a completely different person, more experienced and better. As Strauss-Strip says, there's no substitute. My second charge, and mirroring some things that Jeff had to say, is that you be socially responsible in applying your knowledge of IT. Please, never forget that the information that you collect and manipulate is often about individuals, you and me, and may be sensitive and confidential. Most of you know my interest in this area from projects I've made you do through several semesters. American Fact Finder comes to mind, that crazy cyclic perturbation thing we did in C++ class. I think a lot about this. I think it's important. Privacy is a hot issue. It's hot, hotter, hottest. And you're on the bleeding edge of this, and you're in a position to do the right thing. So my charge is, don't blow it. Finally, I want to recognize the hard work you've all put in, and in many cases, the financial hardships you've been through. So let me just say that I hope in the very near future, in your personal database, your salary field will require at least 32 bits. Thanks very much, and good luck.
Thanks very much, Steve. Well, this concludes the 2003 MISM MSIT commencement program. I invite you all to join the graduates, the faculty, and the staff in the foyer after this for reception. I do ask that everyone remain in their place until the graduates recess out of the theater. Thank you very much, and please join me in one final round of applause as the graduates recess.